Alrighty, folks, welcome this morning to our first development seminar of 2023. How to start right, or starting your year right. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, this has kind of come onto my heart as I've begun this year. Having done 7 years now at Duepoint, I have watched many folk of different levels, both beginner, brand new, first time in the business, people that have been around for a year or two, and people that have now been around 5, 6, 7 years, how they begin their years, how they start each year. Sometimes they started right, sometimes they started wrong. It doesn't matter what level of experience you have, you can make mistakes or you can do things right. And what the intention of this development seminar is for today, 2023, and all the years to come, is that I'm hoping it will help you start each year correctly. Now, the reason we're doing it in February is because January every year just vanishes. It just vanishes, so the official start of all years henceforth is February. Because January was just crazy. It's crazy every single year. So it's not that we have run out of time to start 2023 or any year correctly at the beginning of February. We still have time to start this year correctly. And so that's what this development seminar hopes to do for you, is to get you on track in starting your year correctly. There's 4 things we're going to be looking at this morning. It's the 4 things that you should be doing at the beginning of each year as you build your wealth with us at Duepoint. Step number 1 is going to be surveying the land. This is the territory in which you are about to enter. And we're going to get into those details in a minute. Then the second thing is assess your approach. How will you be approaching this territory you're about to enter? And then the third section is, how will you be improving yourself this year? Improving your skills in building wealth with Duepoint this year. And then the fourth one that we'll look at this morning is entrenching your meaning into this business. Building roots, deep tap roots that entrench you into this business and into your asset for the rest of your lives. Remember, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for people that go the distance. This becomes their career. This becomes the thing that they build their lives on. That's what we're looking at. So we're going to look at those 4 parts this morning. We're going to start by looking at survey the land. What do we mean by it, and what is it? Well, effectively, it's who are you looking for this year? Who are you looking for this year that you're going to be putting into your channels? As you stand at the beginning of each year, you can assess what you did last year. Now, if you're a beginner, you can't assess anything yet. You can only look forward. But once you've done a year with us, you're able to look back at the year before you and say, who did I put into my channel, and what did that result in my asset, in my channel? Was there big growth? Was there no growth? Did I go backwards last year? At Duepoint, our channels are people. That's all it is. It's people. That's the one ingredient. There's one ingredient to your channel. It's people. And so if you're putting the wrong people in, you're going to be going backwards. If you're putting the right people in, you're going to be going forwards. There isn't another factor in it. You know, other than if Duepoint changed something fundamental, and for 7 years we've changed nothing. Okay, so it's really just the people that you can look at. As you assess each year, you assess, who did I put in? And so as you stand at the beginning of 2023, or the beginning of whichever year you're watching this presentation, this dev seminar for, you ask yourself the question, who am I putting in going forward? People with a why. Now that sounds a bit cliched, but it's true. And in South Africa, it's everybody. In South Africa, it's people who go, I need to be doing something to change my circumstances. I need it. If you go to people who don't care, and there are people like that. There are people who are like, I just exist. I get my 350 Rand from SASSA every month and I don't care. I've met people like that. I have. Where I say, I've got something for you that can make your life so much better. And they go, no, but I don't want it. I can sit at home. I can do nothing. I can absolutely survive on my 350. Nothing's changed for me in 30 years. I'm happy. Don't bother. Don't bother with those people. There's no point in wasting energy on people like that, okay? You want to find the people who go, I'm sick of my circumstances. I'm sick of them. I want change. I want to do something that changes my circumstances going forward. It's not that difficult to find people like that. You've got friends that are like that, tired of their circumstances, battling. Those are the people you want to start talking to. You want people who are energetic and innovative. There are people who have a huge why. They should be doing Duepoint, but they got no energy, they got no innovation, and they are just not going to help you. So while you can define their why to them in intimate details, they're still the wrong people for you. You want people that are energetic. You want people that are motivated. That's who you want. You do not want to be putting people in that are half dead. And you know who they are? I've got friends that are half dead. You know? They're good for a beer on a Friday night, but that's it. Like, that's it. Like, they're good for nothing else. Okay? They're half dead. But I've also got friends that are motivated and energetic and innovative. Those are the people you want in. Do not look at people who are energetic and innovative and go, well, no, they're not going to want to do this. That's nonsense. In South Africa, we got no choices. We got no options. They can't do anything else. So come and harness that energy and that innovation in building for you at Duepoint. You want to find people that are good with people. So often it's said in network marketing, any personality will do. I don't know. You get people who are bad with people. I know that people are bad, and they struggle to build because they can't connect with the individuals. They chase them away by their personality, by the way they talk. They chase them away. You want to find people who are good with people. Someone who is naturally friendly, naturally open, and people don't struggle to talk to them. If you know people that are difficult people, they're not going to be good at this business. They're not going to be good at this business. Okay? So find people who are good with people. Find people who are driven. Again, these 3 points are largely the same. If you find somebody who has got no drive in life, they're not going to help you. They're not going to help you. You want people who are driven. They must have a goal. They must be the ones that talk about what they like out of life. Those are the people that you're going to want to look for. And they can be any age. They can be any age. I still get people who go, no, the people who build best are over the age of 45. And I go, 1.2 million matrics just entered our market. Matriculants that passed their exams entered our market, and there are no jobs for them. You guys should be standing at the gates of all the high schools at the end of every year. You should be standing there going, all right, welcome to Duepoint. But I know that many of you say to me, no, they no good. No, you've got to get people who are in mid-40s and above. They're the ones that do it because they've been so beaten up and broken by life that now they're ready for Duepoint. And I'm like, no, that might have been an old principle that applied to old businesses. But Duepoint is completely innovative. We're cutting-edge technology. We are the newest and most hopeful income source for every South African. We should be standing at the gates of the high school students. And we should be saying, come, let me build a career for you. Imagine an 18-year-old that can work from 18 to 70 on Duepoint. Can you imagine how wealthy they would be? No career, plastic surgeon, a high-powered lawyer, CEO. They'd never earn as much as they could build with us. And then they can hand it to their children. You can't do that as a CEO of a business or a lawyer or a plastic surgeon. Once you're gone, it's gone. But at Duepoint, you've built an asset you can hand to your children. Is this sinking in? Because how many of you, as I keep saying, are going to hit your first obstacle? Your first person who says no. The first 10 people that say no. The first person who pays but then cancels and you quit. How many are you going to quit? When you've now heard what I've said about the fact that you cannot build like you can outside of Duepoint. You cannot build like you can build here, anywhere outside of Duepoint. Do not allow yourselves to fade. That is not the right way to start. If you picture starting correctly like running a long-distance race, okay, you can't start brilliantly and then peter out halfway. You still lose the race. The guy who started badly but went the full distance does better than you. Okay? You've got to be somebody that not only starts well, but runs this race the whole way through. Your critical criteria when looking for people as you move forward are people who have a smartphone and are proficient owners of that smartphone. We see it time and again. It's not the majority of people, it's the minority of people. But we see wealth engineers bring Gogo from Mpumalanga to the counter and go, how do I sign her up? She doesn't have a phone. And then get very upset with us when we say, your grandmother is not going to be able to do this business. No, but she wants to. Well, she might want to, but she won't be able to do this business because you can't sit next to her for the rest of her asset building career with us and sign every person up for her and show her how to push the watch button on the videos and all of that. In the new South Africa, that is post-COVID, you need to have data and a smartphone. If you don't have those two tools, you are economically dead. You are economically dead. So make a plan. Get rid of the DSTV. Get rid of the chicken licking. Few months of that, and all of a sudden you've got enough money to buy the 600 Rand smartphone and to buy the 50 Rand a month data package. You are going to have to do that, otherwise you are economically dead in South Africa. And so do not bring people into your channel that do not have a smartphone and are not proficient at it. Okay? It won't grow. That will be starting incorrectly for 2023 and any other year. And do not bring people in who cannot afford the 269. If they can't, you will know. If they cannot afford the 269, they are going to break your heart because they'll be super excited. I got no money, sure, I want to do this thing. And then they don't pay. And you get nothing. And they get nothing. And you've wasted your energy. We've spoken about this for the 7 years I've been doing this. I've been saying to people, all of you guys get so excited. You sign up 10, 15 people in a month. And you go, Brendan, I'm going to be rank 3, and I'm going to da-da-da. And then one of the 15 pays. And then when I look at the 15 people, I go, but you knew none of these people were going to be able to. They were all the unemployed people right around you that you knew had nothing. They got no money in their bank account. And you got all excited about 15 people. They were 15 non-people from the beginning. Okay? So if you're going to start growing correctly, find people you know can afford 269 every single month. Not once a month, every single month. All righty. Now, I'm not being mean or prejudicial. We have a task to do. It's a little bit like if I said you need to dig this trench and I gave you teaspoons. No? If I give you a shovel or even better, a caterpillar machine, you can dig the trench a whole lot faster. So you can't be cross with me because I say you can't sign up people that can't pay 269. You can. It's like digging the trench with a teaspoon. So if you want to do it right, do it right. As I've said many times over the last 7 years, is once you are wealthy, you can tackle the poor. You can set up charities. You can set up foundations. That's once you're wealthy. But before you're wealthy, you're still poor. Let's get you fixed first. Okay? Then we can get back to these people. So it's not a prejudicial statement. It's a factual statement that we have to do. Who are you not looking for? People who don't do anything. We don't want people like that have no energy and no why. I get my 350 from SARS, I'm happy. Who expect everything for free. The moment you have somebody who says, nah, they must give, you know that's a person who won't grow your channel. Here's Eskom. Let's go. There we go. You're right. What else can we buy with our wealth in South Africa? Solar panels, batteries, inverters, generators. I tell you, I've said this in presentations before. All of a sudden, Duepoint has got more valuable because it is the only place. Yeah, look at me there. I'm like a ghost there. But at least we're still live. We're like if there's nothing else in South Africa that can equip you to buy backup power. What else can I? No, there's no one. I saw that there was that scheme that came out that was like, no, you buy into solar panels. Well, that's gone. No, I just give you the money. You can then go and buy your backup batteries. You can live in this out. The load shedding is not disappearing. It's not going. I was talking to a friend of mine who lives in the British Virgin Islands. They've had load sheddings now for the last 30 years. 30 years. He says load shedding. He says every day, at least twice a day, my generator turns on. Has for the last 30 years. No surprise to it. They don't even call it load shedding. They don't call it. That's just the power supply. That is just the power supply on the island. And do you know what the power supply is in South Africa? Zero. This is, it's not quite zero yet, but it's getting there. This is the power supply. And so we know it's not going away. So we know we need to start right, build wealth, and buy backup batteries, generators, inverters, and solar panels. That's the only solution. We've got to do it. Everything is coming back to us. We know that. It's coming back to us. We will build South Africa. Not the politicians. We will build South Africa. For all of their drama and all of that, and not solving our problems. We've got to do it. Okay? And that's what we're going to do. Do not put people in your channel who expect everything for free. What does that include? They want to use your phone. They want to use your data. And they want you to drive them here. Those individuals won't build your channel. And I know we've had people before. We've had people before who've said, this person here, they're amazing. Watch them. And I go, but they've just asked you for more lifts and they're using your phone. And I go, they're never going to grow, and they disappear. And they disappear. Do not put people in who expect things for free. Those days are gone. They have collapsed our economy, and they're gone. Okay, we're going to need people who are going to work for things. People with poor work ethics, they're out. Network hoppers and scamsters. Again, I've had 7 years of this experience. Many of our folks, but I remember one of the older guys, original guys back in 2016 going, I look for networkers. And I put the networkers in, and the networkers grow my channel. All gone. He's gone. They gone. Everybody's gone. Because they hop from network to network to network to network. And they are always poor. They're always poor. They arrive here. They get to rank 2 or 3. And they disappear. And they continue being poor. And when we see them again, we always see their Facebook pages. Hey, this new thing, China, San Francisco, nothing. They got nothing. They're always poor because then the next week they're borrowing money from you. But they're so rich. No. People who hop and who are networkers generally are poor. You want genuine individuals. Remember, Duepoint is not traditional network marketing. Duepoint is at its core, at its root, a wealth creation system that was designed specifically to solve the South African economic situation. These other networks were not designed for South Africa. They were not designed in South Africa by South Africans. 99% of them are from outside. And they're scamming you in South Africa because they know that we are in such an economic plight. We're so desperate we'll do anything. But at Duepoint, you don't have to be desperate because it's a genuine system. As I said, we started our 8th year now. None of these other things have ever lasted more than 2 years. I've said that many times to our wealth things. They're like, oh no, there's this new thing. I'm like, okay, we'll start the clock. Click. Start the clock running. Let's see how long it lasts. And it is gone 6 months, 9 months, maybe some of them 2 years, gone. We've gone year after year after year because we're genuine. And so you want to find genuine people who have a genuine need and are willing and energized to solve their economic problem. Those are the people that you're going to want to find. Your critical criteria in not putting them in is not computer or phone literate. If they're not computer and phone literate, out next. Don't even bother with them. They cannot afford the 269, out next. Don't waste your time. And they want you to do everything. The moment you see it, those are your 3 red flags. They're your 3 red flags. You see that? Don't bother. You're going to break your own heart. That's when you come to me after 90 days and you go, Brendan, I'm quitting because nobody wants to do this business. And I go, well, who did you talk to? And you spoke to these people. Because these people are easy to talk to. They got nothing. They're desperate. You see? You want to talk to the people who are working hard even if they've got nothing. Those are the people. You want to redirect their work to something that creates wealth for them. All right. Have you been looking in the right places? This is a really interesting. So we've spoken about the people. Now we've got to find out about where you're looking for them, okay? Have you been looking in the right places? Like I just said to you, have you gone to the easy targets? The people that are easy to talk to but do not produce results for you? Or have you been brave and started tackling others? You need to assess your territory. Now this is for those of you who are not brand new beginners. This is for those of you who have been around. Where have you been walking around? The territory you've been looking for people in. You need to look at it and you need to assess it and say, have I been in the right area? Have I been too insular? I'm going to talk about what that means in a moment. Or have I been too open in who and where I've been looking? Will you find what you're looking for where you've been looking? That's the question you've got to ask yourself. Am I actually going to find people that can build my channel to 10, 15, 100,000 people in the territory I've been wandering around in? Okay, this is a question you've got to ask yourself. All right, let's take a look. Too insular. I meet people like this. I only speak to people I know. So that means my family. I've only spoken to people in my family. I spoke to my dad. He said, this is nonsense. I quit. I spoke to my brother. He laughed at me. I quit. I've seen this. If you focus only on your family, your heart will be broken. Social, your friends, your church, and your hobbies, that runs out real quick. You speak to all of them, maybe 20, 30, 40 people. Now you're done. That's everyone. Where are you going to go? If you are too insular, you are focusing only on people you know, you're going to run out of people really, really quickly. Work. I've spoken to all my colleagues at work. This whole lot sums up to maybe 50 people, maybe 60 people. You're done. Now what? This is when I see people going, no, I've spoken to everyone. I've spoken to everyone. No, you haven't. You've spoken to a tiny amount. There are 63 million people in South Africa at the moment. You've spoken to 50, maybe 60 of them out of the 63 million. Assess your territory. Where have you been talking and connecting with people? Where have you been doing it? Ask yourself, am I going to find that champion or the champions I need in the territory I have been moving in? Would you find it in here? Oh, maybe. I doubt it. It's a very small number. You're going to have to get away. Look, my experienced wealth engineers are all saying no. They're all saying you're not going to find that superhero, those superheroes in there. You're not going to find it. They might start you. They might get you to rank 1 or rank 2. That's great. Get a little bit of money, a little bit of confidence. Okay, that's great. But that cannot be the be-all and the end-all. Too insular means too tight, too small. You've been too small. But you can make the opposite mistake. You can be too open. We see it happening. Social media, I'm just going to bomb the place. Adverts, free this, free that, forums. You get into all the forums, you're dropping your messages in and getting banned. This is a specialized skill. We have individuals at Duepoint that have specialized in this, and they kill it. They do fantastically. They rank up, they grow, they get 800 leads a day. They are specialists. They've taken years to learn how to do it properly. You're not there. You're not there. I know you're not there. You've arrived on day 1, and even if I connected you with the specialist, you wouldn't do what they tell you. You wouldn't do it. You'd do it wrong. Okay? And so you go into this open field called Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and it's so open, there's no connection. There's no connection with the individuals at all. Okay? It becomes completely impersonal. You see, that's why people like starting fights on social media. I'm being dead serious. Your Twitter is totally toxic because you can say what you like. They don't know who you are. They can't find you. It's not like standing in front of somebody and saying the same thing to them. Now, they know who you are. So it's a totally toxic environment. It's completely impersonal. We have the most hilarious stuff written on our Facebook pages because people feel brave to say it because they know we can't find them. So they're brave to say the most ridiculous things and accusations about us. It's completely impersonal, unless you know how to do it. And you don't. So I'm assuming that, okay? It is completely impersonal. It's electronic, so it's candy floss. It's quick. Click, 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 click. You see it, you move on. You don't even process it. Again, when you're in somebody's face, they can't ignore you. They can't move away. It's not candy floss. It's a committed connection. And it's easy to ignore. It's easy to ignore. 99% of the adverts that pop up on my social media feeds, I don't even see. I don't even see them. I can't even tell you what they're advertising. Sometimes on YouTube it goes, which of the following ads did you see? And I read through the list and I go, I haven't seen any of those. But they've obviously been coming up, but it's easy to ignore. It's too open. So you've got too insular and you've got too open. Your territory is not properly defined. It is, in fact, both that you've got to be doing if you're going to be surviving with us. These days, these are the two territories. It is the people and it is the online social media space. And you have to overlap those two in a way that creates a defined territory for you. Okay? Social media becomes one of your lead generators. If you're not on social media, you've just basically ignored the biggest pool of easy to get people. Okay? But you can't only be on social media. And if you're on social media, you've got to be doing it the right way. So it becomes one of your lead generators. The other lead generator for you is your shoes. It's your shoes. You need to get on your feet and you need to walk. All of you come from suburbs that have tens of thousands of people in them, don't they? So why are you not walking the streets? Telling people about Duepoint. No, I'm shy. Well, then there's no space for you at Duepoint. Get over your shyness. Get over your shyness. You've got to start seeing people face to face. You need to see people. We haven't disappeared just because of COVID and social media. We haven't just suddenly no longer needed community. We're human beings. Human beings need community. Put your shoes on and get out there. Talk to people everywhere. And you'll get better and better at it. Some of our guys, there's some training that we do under FAQs and things like that. We've talked about how do you find people. Talk to people like Donnie and Patrick. They are picking leads up everywhere. When we go on the Rank 9 trip, Patrick's picking up the telephone number of the lady who's checking his luggage in. You talk to, and Patrick's got a great story as well. He walks up to someone in a parking lot and says, "Don't I know you? Don't I know you?" And the guy goes, "No, I don't know you. No, I definitely know you. I've seen you at Duepoint." And the guy goes, "I don't even know who Duepoint is. Let me tell you about Duepoint." And this is why they rank 12, and have channels with thousands and thousands of people in them. Because everywhere they go, they pick up leads. Donnie's the same thing. He's just got business cards and business cards and business cards from people. Everywhere he goes, he talks to people. You need to put your shoes on. And so you define your territory between a lead generator in social media, whatever it may be, yours, TikTok, and what you are producing on your feet. You cannot do one without the other anymore. You need to be doing both. This is where you will find the people. People will seldom commit to only social media. Okay? They will maybe meet you on social media, but you need to then connect with them in person. Now, that doesn't mean they have to be in your physical presence. These days, we've got lots of tools. It can be on the telephone. It can be on your screen, like a video call. There's many ways of connecting with people these days that's more physical than a Facebook post or a TikTok video. Do you know what I'm saying? So you convert your social media link into a real human connection. It can't be ignored. It can't be thrown away. It is real and tangible, and it creates an emotional connection, which we need. Once you've done that, you'll start to build people in your channels who are connected to you and Duepoint, and therefore last. They go the distance. They build and create wealth with you. Where you need to be brave, you are going to have to move out from behind your screens. That's behind your phones. You cannot be so afraid to talk to people. And I see it constantly. No, I got 100 leads this morning. I just sent them all the same WhatsApp. I just sent them this WhatsApp. I've got it. It's pre-populated, and I sent it to them. But nobody's responded to me yet. Nobody's going to respond to that. You might get a small percentage that do, but it's never going to be enough to build you. If you get 100 leads, you may send them a blast because you want to get to 100, but the blast needs to say, "I will contact you shortly." And then you work through them. You pick your phone up and you talk to those people. You talk to them. You connect with them as a human, not as a computer. You need to get brave to do that. You're going to need to get brave that you get comfortable talking to people you don't know well. That's your too insular. You're going to have to move out, and you're going to have to learn to talk to people you don't know. This is unfortunately rare. It's actually not as bad as you think. It just takes a little bit of that first courage. Once you've done it once or twice, then it gets easy. It gets easy to do it. But you're going to have to put in it. You can't say to me, "I'm shy." Then you're impoverished. That's what it means. Then you're going to be poor. Unfortunately, there's no space for that anymore. Okay? We need to be brave. You're going to have to put on your courage. If you want to start this year right, start it brave. Okay. Everyone you don't know, on your block, in your suburb, and in your country. These are the people you're going to have to get to now. How many people have we not got to as Duepoint? Millions. Tens of millions. We've been doing this for 7 years, and there's still tens of millions of South Africans that don't know about Duepoint. And there are millions that heard about Duepoint, but heard about it wrong. That we need to go back to, and we need to show them. We need to go and show them the correct message. So folks, get brave and get out there. Get out there. I've told the story before. Francois Marais, he's in a picture with me in the glass cabinet here. He joined the IFA in 2001, back in the day. That was now 22 years ago, if you can remember. This is a white Afrikaner, okay? He joined, he was young, he was in his early 20s, and he came in and he looked at this thing and he said, but it's too slow. It's too slow with me connecting one person, it's too slow. He said, I've got to be able to do this better. So he had gathered a few people in his channel, and he said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to get in our cars with loudhailers, and we're going to drive through our suburbs, and we're going to shout out that we're having a meeting down the road, and we're going to gather up people. And he said he did. It started with 2 or 3 cars. Him and 2 or 3 of his friends that were doing this thing. And they loud hailed down the suburb street, and they booked a little venue, a coffee shop or a wimpy or something at the end of the road, and they gathered up 10 people and signed 10 people up in one morning. And he went, this is working. This is how we're going to do it. And then he went with 4 cars the next time. And he ran through another suburb, and he booked another little venue. Somebody had 20 people. And by the time he reached 2007, he was booking stadiums. And he had 15,000 people signed up in one day on his best day. 15,000 people into your channel on one day. Now, he didn't get there immediately, and I think this is where people get boggled. No, I can't do a state. No, he started with the coffee shop, the Wimpy, down the road, and he got 10 people in. But he did it every weekend, and he drove everywhere. They went to every suburb in South Africa, every rural area, everywhere they went. He didn't know these people. He was a white Afrikaner, and he would have 60,000 people from Mpumalanga in a stadium, and he'd sign 15,000 of them up. Are we going to continue to bring people into Duepoint one and one and one and one? How long do you think it's going to take us to get anywhere? Huh? Or are we going to get serious? We were talking to our rank 9s and above in December, and I've labeled them activation events. You can call them what you like. We need to see more activation events. You can call them what you want. We need to see more activation events where you start saying it is more than just about one-on-ones. It's about us bringing in groups, suburbs of individuals. You're not going to sign them all up, but you sign up a percentage. That percentage is a big number. If you've got 1,000 people at a venue and you sign up 100, that's a good day. 100 people signed up in one day, and you'll sign up more than 100. You will. We've got to start looking at this from a much bigger perspective. Start this year right. Don't start with it with 1. Start with it with the idea of I'm going to start with doing 10 a week, but by the end of this year, I'm going to be doing 100 a week. That's what we want to start looking at and seeing with you guys. Okay. That's your territory. Now we've got to assess your approach. So you've got the people. How do you connect them in with us? And this is quite important. I find that a lot of wealth engineers do this wrong, and it's just because you're not trained or experienced in this, okay? And so I want you to listen to what I have this morning and adjust what you do, because a lot of you are doing it incorrectly. That's not a personal thing against you. As I say, it's just an improvement area. Get better at what you do. When you talk to people, what you should have in your head is this about me or is this about them? You're trying to get them in. The easy answer is say, no, this is about me because I want more money, I want a bigger channel. But actually, when you're talking to somebody who's never heard about Duepoint or your asset, they don't care about your asset or about you. They're caring about themselves. As you're talking to them about their income situation, their circumstances, your approach should be all about them. And so change the way you speak when you're talking. I've heard wealth engineers say, I need you to pay your product, otherwise I won't get my 5,000 Rand check. I've heard that repeatedly. And I go, that's just great. Even if the guy decides to make that payment, you're never going to see him again, and you'd have got nothing. Your 5 grand will be spent by Tuesday, and you will have nothing to show for that. Stop thinking about it when you're growing your channel about you. You get rewarded in the end, but it's about the individuals. If you get the individuals to not only join you, but to then go out and grow because you are focused on them, you win. You win when other people are succeeding at Duepoint. Okay, that's the wonder of this business. This business is about other people. Okay? Growing your asset is about others. Your approach must be geared towards others. What are their wants and needs? When you talk to people, are you talking to them about what they're struggling with? How we can fix what they're struggling with Duepoint. You've often heard me call Duepoint the good news. We are the good news in South Africa. We don't fade away. We're a part of massive insurance companies, and we're bringing you your solution to your economic situation for 269 Rand a month. We're the good news. Are we talking this into people's lives? Have we spoken about their problems, their fears and phobias? You are afraid to join Duepoint because you don't want to talk to people. You're worried you'll be embarrassed, that people will shun you and shame you because you're doing something they don't understand. But they tell you you're doing this, you're doing that, and they laugh at you. I don't want to get involved in that. I don't want to get involved in that. There's so much of that negativity. It requires bravery and courage to overcome. Are you speaking courage into the lives of these individuals as you bring them in? That's when you can talk to them about how you face this problem as well. When I began, these were my fears too. So I fully appreciate how you feel. I know how you feel. But this is how we overcome them with Duepoint. Touch into the lives of the individuals you're talking with. And then speak to their aspirations and their dreams. Those are dead in South Africa. How many South Africans even bother aspiring anymore? It's gone. What are you going to aspire to? A job? There are no jobs. Being wealthy? No chance. Having electricity all day long? Forget it. Any aspiration, travel, gone. You know, the South African passport only gets you into so many countries these days. We don't aspire anymore in South Africa. We don't dream. What we try and do is, I don't even know if I want to say it. What do we see for those that do get wealth in South Africa? How do they get that wealth? 99% of the time, was it legitimate? No. And that's the saddest part. And that is demonstrative of the fact that they've lost their aspiration and their dreams. When we start sort of like stealing our way, we don't believe anymore we can do it legitimately. That's why we've turned to theft. Do you see what I'm saying? Now, at Duepoint, we have the ability to reignite the dream, to reignite the aspiration. Now, completely legitimately, you can work towards any dream you have. If you dream to own a Ferrari, you can have the Ferrari with us. You can't do it overnight. You cannot, because that's not legitimate. No individual has ever been able to buy a Ferrari overnight. No, but that's what I want. Well, that's the reason we're in the trouble that we're in. The pillaging and the looting. You know, when COVID came out, we got promised 500 billion rands worth of relief. I didn't see a cent of that personally. But it was Lamborghini, Ferrari, Bentley, and Porsche's best years in the history in South Africa. That's a legitimate fact. You can go and see. They all had, those four brands, had their best sales years, 2020 and 2021, in their history in South Africa. Where do you think that 500 billion rand went to? Okay, well, it went largely to Ferrari, Lamborghini, Bentley, and Porsche. But what I wanted to say to you was, those individuals driving those cars, do you think it sits easy in their hearts? They'll tell you it does, but I know it doesn't. Because we all have the moral law written in our DNA. When you build with Duepoint, and you put 20 years in to getting to an income where you're earning R1 million a month with us, and you go and you buy the Ferrari you want, you drive out of there knowing you built it yourself. You built it legitimately. You put the time and the years in. You didn't steal from anyone, but you got better yourself in the process. There's a very different feeling. Have you spoken this into the lives of people you're connecting to Duepoint? Is this what you talk about when you talk to them? Or you're talking about the quick, no, you get 1,000 rand for putting 5 people in. Put the 5 people in, get you 1,000 rand. Is that what you're telling them? Is that building their dreams and aspirations? See, we've got to do it differently. Start the year right. Stop chasing the 1,000 rand and the 5,000 rand. It's not changing people's circumstances. Start building towards the long-term wealth and the change of economic circumstances of the people you bring into your assets and into your channels. That's what we want to do here at Duepoint. being the right person to connect someone is actually quite tricky, because you can be, again, too extreme. You can come in and you can be completely slapgat. It's a great South African saying. You come in your shorts and your T-shirt with the stains and the snot mark and the coffee. Nobody's going to want to join your channel. You can come in and be harsh and unforgiving, and you need this, otherwise you just rubbish, and I'm only looking for people that are, and that will also chase people away. You can also come in with the opposite, and I've seen this. You can come in and be absolutely incredible. You can be dressed beautifully. You can be looking beautiful. You can know everything about Duepoint, and you can bowl the person right over. They're still not going to join you, because they're going to look at you and go, I can't be that. I can't be that amazing, that beautiful, that well-spoken, that well-educated, I can't be that, and so they'll shy away from you. You got to hit the middle road. You need to be smartly dressed, but reasonably dressed, so that they can associate with you. You need to be warm, but serious. So you come in and go, I'm doing this seriously, but I'm not going to steamroll you to get you in. You want to be warm, but serious. It's a middle road approach. Effectively, you want to be what all of you are here this morning. Be yourselves, but don't be extreme when you. And I've seen it. I've seen people push people out of Duepoint because they either just completely slapgat, or they too hard, too either crazy good or too vicious. Get in the middle where you can associate with individuals and form relationship. You want to be doing that to start with. Be interested in the other people. Again, I've seen people waiting for the other person to stop talking so they can start talking again. They're not hearing a single word the other person is saying. They're just waiting for their turn to jump back in. Listen to people, because when you listen to people, you're going to hear where their hurt points are, their pain points are. And you'll be able to say, this is where I think we can help you with Duepoint. This is where we can help you with Duepoint. Listen to them in this process. They should be talking more than you. They should be talking more than you. Remembering the details of people is an amazing old trick that works so well. Remember what people's names are. Remember small details. The wife's name, what the daughter is studying at school, what sport the son plays. So that when you come back to people, because not everybody signs up the first time, but when you come back to people later, you bowl them over by remembering the small details. You immediately remember their name. How's your wife doing? Last time you told me she was sick. Is she better yet? That will blow people away. You want to be able to do that. Remember the small details. So learn how to do it. Making notes, really important. There is in our app, under your prospects, there's a notes section. Put notes in. Then you don't have to forcibly remember, but when you go back to that prospect, they're the notes, and then you can almost fool them in how good your memory is, because you've got your notes written right there in front of you. Otherwise, learn association tricks. I've never been particularly good at this, but I try it. I'm terrible with names. I am terrible with names, and I meet so many people that it's actually something I don't bother doing, is learning the names of people, because tomorrow I've got another 1,000 and then another 1,000. But I made a very specific note. And the Boltron guys don't know this. But before I met with the Boltron team in 2015, this was a team that we started Duepoint with, I said to myself before, I need to memorize everybody's name today, which I never do, and I'm going to have to do association. So we had a meeting. There was about 10 or 15 of them in a room. I memorized everything about them so that I could greet them very easily thereafter by name. And if you ask Rulof, he always says he was so impressed that I remembered all of their names. It's the only day I ever did it, but it did exactly what I wanted it to do, was to let them connect with me. By memorizing their personal details, they connected with me. And it's an old trick. It's something you can do and should be doing with everybody that you want to bring into your channels, is put the effort in. I wanted them to connect with me, so I put the effort in. I didn't do it any other day. I haven't done it this morning. I haven't memorized all your names. Okay, I have video footage just to remember who you are, so that when you're missing, I can come and find you and ask you where you've gone. But when you are dealing with people, memorize the little details. Make notes. It changes everything. Okay? and then relate their interests to Duepoint. As I said, bring it back to Duepoint. Now you know what they're interested in. Show them how Duepoint can assist them and do that. And as I've said many times, and it's the thing that always surprises me, is that people are not shamelessly proud of Duepoint. What have we got to be ashamed of at Duepoint? Is there a part of this business you're embarrassed about? You know, when it comes, but people are ashamed of network marketing. Do you know why? Because network marketing has made a bad name for itself in the past by taking people's money. How have they taken people's money? Generally through very expensive training. Okay? Very expensive training. You've got to come to our conference, it's 1,500 Rand a ticket. Then you've got to buy the 5,000 Rand textbook and the 4,500 Rand starter kit. The person spent 10 grand before they've even started. This is the kind of thing that's given them a bad reputation. Okay? In other ways, it's you need to be buying the stock the whole time. So you have 50 grand worth of stock and you can't sell it. None of that exists at Duepoint. How much does it cost you to be here? 269 Rand a month. We don't charge you for any of the training. None of you had to pay to be here this morning at this training. You don't get to pay for any of the training in the app. There's no textbooks to buy, no application forms to buy, no stock to buy. If you buy one of our products, you don't pay the 269. We have nothing to be ashamed of. No, but you know, this network marketing, it doesn't always work. Well, we'll look at the numbers. Let's look at the numbers. First of all, I don't believe we're traditional network marketing, but let's look at those numbers. We have nothing to be ashamed of, which means you should be shamelessly confident when you're talking to people about Duepoint. You've seen me on TV. Did I look one bit embarrassed? In the 4 interviews I've been called to do now, have you seen me embarrassed about any aspect of our business? No. And I've got another one coming in April. You know, I'm not embarrassed. Ask me any question. We do public Q&A sessions every Tuesday night. Anyone from the public can ask me any question. We don't hide from them. We answer all the questions because we should be shamelessly proud of Duepoint. When you are talking to someone, their confidence in you will be reflected by how confident you are. So start being more confident about your discussion about Duepoint. Never turn it into an argument. I've seen some of you turn it into an argument. You want to prove the person wrong. That's not going to get them in. Even if you succeed in proving them wrong, you're not going to get them in. Many years ago, 2017, I had a lady standing in the entrance outside here. She said, "You guys are a pyramid scheme." I said to her, "Ma'am, we can't be a pyramid scheme because that's illegal. And we are licensed by the Financial Sector Conduct Authority. We have insurance licenses with partners. How come no one else has picked it up?" No, and she said, no, I'm not saying you're an illegal pyramid scheme. I'm saying you're a pyramid scheme. And I said, "But ma'am, pyramid schemes are defined in the Consumer Protection Act as illegal." And she said, "No, you are a legal pyramid scheme." And she walked out. I didn't win, and she didn't win. So let's not have arguments. Let's have none. The better way, and I'm not as good as guys like Roloff and Donnie at this, is a nice subtle way of saying, you know, I thought that in the beginning too. I did. I thought that in the beginning too. I really did believe this was a pyramid scheme in the beginning. But let me tell you how I progressed away from that thought. You guys are all much better at that. Irina and Lynette, you ask them. They'll show you how to word that so that it's a good, so the person doesn't feel like you've beaten them in an argument. The person goes, "Oh, okay, so there is actually a journey in this process." I think that's really important. Respect other people's opinions. You know, you're a pyramid scheme. Okay, I respect you for that. Let's talk you through that now. You know, don't belittle them for their opinion. Because that's easy. You can belittle people and you lose the argument. And you lose them as a potential wealth engineer in your channel. So respect their opinions. Don't fight against them. And don't be afraid to be wrong. Don't be afraid to be wrong. I'm often wrong. I have a very clever wife. She won the Ducks Award in primary school and high school. My best friend won the Ducks Award in primary school and high school as well. We were in different years. That's why they were able to do it. Okay. So at my 21st birthday, which was 2 years ago, my best friend got up and he did a little speech. And in his speech, he said, "If there's one thing Brendan's got good at, it's being wrong." With a friend like me and at that time a girlfriend like Olympia, Brendan's had to get used to being wrong. And he was absolutely right. I'm happy to be wrong, and I am wrong. I'm not perfect. I'm not the brightest person. I'm not the best at everything. I am happy to be wrong. That can endear people to you if you are willing to admit you're wrong. You're going, absolutely right. I didn't realize that. I've learned something today. The person will be like, oh, and they'll feel good about themselves. Oh, yeah, I taught him something. Good. That doesn't mean the conversation has ended. You're now able to bring that person into your channel because you've won them over. Don't be afraid to be wrong in these conversations. Show them that you too have had to go through the process. I was also there. I also struggled. I also didn't understand. I can show you the people that can answer some of your questions. There's going to be questions you can't answer or you don't feel comfortable answering. But you've got this wonderful access to all of us and your lead wealth engineers who you can take people to. Show people it's a journey too. And building your courage can be a journey as well. You're going to be, I don't want to join this. My friends are going to laugh at me. But maybe you can be convinced to join it, and then we start to show you that not all your friends are going to laugh at you. Some of your friends are going to join you in this process. Okay, all right. So do this with people. Form a good conversation, a wholesome conversation, and endear people to you by remembering their details, and by connecting with them, by not causing arguments or proving that you're right the whole time. Endear people to you through this program. Phrase your questions and statements in ways that result in the answer yes. Don't say to them, do you want to join? Because then they can say no. You can say, can we talk about this a little bit further? You know, like make it a little bit. I'm not so good. Some of the guys here would be able to give me great questions. I've heard them ask them before, where there is only a yes answer to the question. Think about it. You know, would you like to be earning more money? There's very few people that would say no. Once you understand their circumstance, you've got a very sick daughter who's in hospital, and you need the 10,000 or the 100,000 rand. I have something that can help you get that 100,000 rand. When can we sign you up? So there isn't a yes or no answer to when. It's either today or tomorrow or the next day. Do you see what I'm saying? Phrase your questions in ways that the answer is always yes. Don't ask them questions that they can say no to. All right? And talk less. I'm putting it again. Talk less than them. I have seen too many of you talk wealth engineers out of your channels. They are come out of our intro presentation. They are ready to sign up. And they walk out that door 30 minutes later, not signed up. Because you talked them out of the business. You're talking too much. When the person says, I'd like to be in, sign them up. Sign them up. Plug them then into our training, it's like you're trying to justify it and justify it. There's an old statement, I think it's Shakespeare, it says, you oppose too much, you complain too much, it'll come to me in a moment. But there's an old saying, you protest too much, that's the word I'm looking for. You protest too much. You, in a sense, make yourself guilty by talking too much. Okay? Just let them sign up and plug them into the training and get them going from that point in time. Okay. Talk less than these people. Put yourself in their shoes, but help them make better decisions. There is that old saying that says, don't judge someone until you've walked a mile in their shoes. Like, again, as I said, I'm happy to always be wrong. I think that statement's incorrect. I really do. I don't abide by that statement at all. We have got so much information these days available to us through the internet, through TV, through streaming, through everything, that I've already walked the mile with you. I've already walked it. I know what your life looks like. And I know the decisions. I've watched enough reality TV to know the decisions that people make. Okay? I know the decisions they make. I don't need to look at you and go, shame man, I might have been in the same circumstance as you as if I'd walked the same mile as you. No. I know when people are making bad decisions, and I know when people are making good decisions. You can see it. My father has often said to me, and I've often said it to you, he says, I didn't start in the gutter of life. I started in the drain off the gutter. And my dad's a very wealthy, successful man that many people in South Africa know. He's one of the founding fathers of insurance in South Africa. Okay? He's taught some of you at university. All right? He says to me, don't tell me about walking a mile in your shoes. I walked 100 miles in those shoes. What I can tell you is that I made decisions you weren't willing to make. I made decisions that were hard. And you've heard me say before, it's my saying, when there's a decision to be made, it is almost always the right decision when it's the hard one. And as South Africans, we always pick the easy one. We must get it for free. they must give it to me. Those are people that are poor. Only poor people ask for things for free. They do. Give it to me. Give me, give me, give me. That does not create wealth. Doesn't solve your problem. Doesn't solve your problem. And so, we don't want to antagonize people. We don't want to argue with them. We don't want to put them down. So we must put their shoes on. But we want to help them make better decisions than they've been making to that point. Because they've been making decisions that have put them in the position they're in. Okay? We need to help them make better decisions. And Duepoint is a natural first start. We want to start by making the decision to become self-employed in something we can put our roots into. Not a crypto, not a forex, not a solar panel Ponzi. Something that we can put roots down. What does it mean, roots? It means I'm not committing to see if this works. I'm committing to put the next 5, 10, 15 years into this to build a new future for myself. Help people make better decisions. Okay? Respect others' ideas and desires. They may say, I just want to earn 20,000 Rand a month and I'll be happy. You can't say to them that's not good enough. People in my channel must desire to earn more than that. You can't do that. Respect their ideas, respect their desires, and say, sure, let's get you there with Duepoint. Let's get what you want 10,000 Rand a month? Great. You're going to need to be at least a rank 6 or a rank 7. Let's go. Let's do it. You know? So you respect their decisions. Appeal to their desires and offer them exciting challenges. When you're trying to get them into the business, you can say to them, I understand what your desire is. You want to be able to get up at 10 o'clock every morning. We can do that with Duepoint. Let me tell you with Duepoint, it's 24 hours a day. You're not locked in. You do not need to come to the office at 8 o'clock in the morning. This is your thing. You can fully flex your hours around it. They may say, I want to drive that new M140i BMW. You go, we can do that. We can do that. Let me show you at Duepoint. If you get to rank 19, they put a million. Is it rank 19? I can't remember. It's rank 11, 16. If you get to rank 16, we'll give you R1 million towards a new car. Let's get you there. You get them excited about the challenges that Duepoint gives and puts in place and gets them to their desires. Use the Duepoint system to tap in to their desires. In the end, becoming a wealth engineer should be their idea, not yours. It should be their idea. They should walk out of these presentations, out of discussions with you and go, I want in. I want in. Because if it was their idea, they don't leave then later and say, well, I didn't really want to sign up in the first place. We see which happens. We see it happening. Make it their idea in the end. All right. So now you know what to say. You know where to look. Now you've got to get this all right. You've got to practice it into reality. Okay? I say practice more because this is the only way you're going to get better. People ask me all the time, what is the thing that people who have succeeded at Duepoint do? And I've said persistence. Persistence is constant practice at the same thing over and over and over again. We need to understand that this is a full numbers game. That's what Duepoint is. That's what actually life is. It's numbers. It's just not. We need to move through hundreds of thousands, millions of South Africans to build our assets. Okay? We have to move through those numbers. So people say, yeah, but not everybody succeeds at network marketing. Well, congratulations. This isn't traditional network marketing, but let's look at those numbers. 0.5% of people succeed at anything in life. That's normal employment. 0.5% succeed at normal employment. Did you know that? Did you know? Think about it. How many CEOs are there? There's 35,000 out of 6.63 million South Africans. There's 35,000 CEOs in South Africa. In fact, I think that number's probably dropped. Most of them left the country. Okay? That's how many people succeed. That's how many people earn more than 100,000 Rand a month. 0.5%. You know, when I see journalists go like, no, you know, nobody succeeds at these things. I'm like, well, how many people succeed at normal employment? How many of them? 0.5%. This actual statistics on traditional network marketing, direct selling, is 2% of people succeed. 2% of people will get to over 100,000 Rand a month. Okay? That's 400% more than normal life. You have a 400% more greater chance of succeeding at Duepoint if we were traditional network marketing than you do at your job. So which would you rather be in? Would you rather be in your dead-end job, or would you rather come here and have 400% more chance of succeeding? This is something that's just like missed by everybody. It's just missed. And this is what I say. The traditional network marketing guys have given themselves a bad reputation. Okay? But as I said, I don't believe that we're traditional. All right, at Duepoint, having looked at the last 7 years, I've looked at these numbers. About 1 in 20 people join Duepoint. So you're going to talk to 20 people, 1 of them are going to join Duepoint. I'm sorry, but that's just the number. Okay? I know you thought you were going to talk to everyone and they were all going to join. It's the same as if you jump off the building, you're not going to fly. It's the same thing. It's just 1 in 20 people. So you can't give up after 20 people. Okay. Of the 1 in 20 people, about 8, so once you've got those 1 to 20, 8 of them are going to remain. So you're going to get 8 out of you're going to get 8 that remain. Okay. Once you've put 20 people in, about 8 are going to sit. They're going to stick. They're going to stay. And out of that 8, 1 of them is going to be a real superstar for you. That's the number. So to get to 8, you've got to put 20 times 8 in. You need to have spoken to 20 times 8, rather. So you take 20 people, times it by 8, what is that going to give us? It's about 160, 180 people. That's going to give you 8 solid individuals in your channel. So you say, no, I don't want to talk to 160 people. I can't even talk to my neighbor. I'm so shy. Get not shy. You've got 63 million people to work through. Get not shy and start talking to people. Social media will help you. You get to blanket a lot more than 20 people, with that sort of stuff, and you can pull out some leads through that process. But you're going to once you've got those 8 in, you're going to have 1 really, really superstar person in your channel. That's what our average numbers look like after 7 years of doing this business. I can't help it. I can't change it, and neither can you. But alternatively, you can carry on with your jobs. Dead end. Okay. All right, alternative. You can't talk to 20 people and think you're done. And we get that a lot. I've spoken to everyone. No, you haven't. You spoke to 20 people. Maybe 30, maybe 40. Still not enough. You need to be talking to every single person. Put your shoes on. Get out there. What did Francois Marais do? He started these big motorcades, shouting out down the road and meeting at the end of the road. Do something to get to more people. Because the more people you get to, the more people will be in your channel and more superstars you will find. It's that simple. Do the numbers. You may need to speak to 100 people before you find your builders. You see, people think, I spoke to 20, I must have 1. I spoke to 20, I must have 1. Okay? But it doesn't work like that. You might need to speak to 100, and number 90, 93, 95, 96, and 99 are your winners. But the first 89 were no thanks. You see, this is what I don't, and again, it frustrates me with South Africans. South Africans are so lazy. I spoke to 40 people, this doesn't work, I'm moving on. No, you got to get out there. If I look at how many people our top guys talk to in a month, it's crazy, and that's why they are growing. It's why they've found builders in their channels. It's why they're getting all the rewards, because they're talking to people. You can't go, well, Brendan, you said 1 in 20. I did. That is 1 in 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, divide by 100 is 1 in 20. Okay. But it didn't mean that they were in the first or the second or the third or the fourth 20 people. They were all in the last 20. And we've all had that. Ulcer's not here this morning, but Ulcer's got these great stories. Spent the whole of December, spoke to 36 people, no one signed up. No one. Next month she speaks to 5, 4 sign up. So it goes like that. You never know where the numbers are. What you do know is your averages. That's all you know. So keep going. You cannot stop. You never know. You never know where your guys are going to be. So you keep talking. There's lots of people to get to. Your success ratio. So we talk about a success ratio at Duepoint. The success ratio is how many people you talk to that convert into wealth engineers. It's that. Then we talk at Duepoint about what happens with those that are in. How many of those build and stay and all of that, okay? But your personal success ratio is actually a variable number. It gets better the longer you practice. So in the beginning, you might need to speak to 100 people to find 5. But 3 years later, when you speak to 100 people, you sign up 20. Your success ratio actually improves with your practice. The average at Duepoint is 1 in 20. But if you talk to guys like Donnie will speak to 5 guys and sign up 3. Okay? But he only does 3 in the month. But he spoke to 5 and he did 3. Pumi will speak to 100 people and sign up 30. It's not as good a ratio as more people, but it's not as good a ratio. It doesn't matter. You see what I'm saying? But the practice of each individual will create their own personal success ratio. So ultimately, you will know, booming, I need to do 100 to get 30. I just know that. I don't fight it. I don't cry about it. I just know I do 100, I get 30 in. Okay? Donnie knows I do 5, I get 3 in. It just becomes your personal success ratio. Now, we actually speak about this in our app. We do training. And in our app, under Tools, if you click Tools and you swipe left twice, you're going to find 2 guides. The one guide is everything you need to do for the first 30 days. Everything, day by day by day by day. And the next one down is what to do in your first 6 months. And that one, I think it's called the Fast Starter Guide. That guide actually gives you the formula to calculate your success ratio. Actually shows you. So you can just use that, you print it out, use the formula, and you can work out what your success ratio is, and then recalculate it every couple of months to see if you're getting better. Because your success ratio will improve. Once the people are in your channel, the ratios are pretty fixed. We know who's in, who builds, who becomes a superstar. Those are pretty fixed. They don't improve with practice. But your success ratio of getting people from outside into your channel, you can make that better with more and more practice. So go and look at that faster. To improve, you're going to need to practice. You're going to need to practice on every day, 4 months. Like you would if you wanted to do anything else. You want to learn to play the piano? You don't just learn 3 months, you play the piano. It doesn't happen. The piano requires 10 years of practice every day to get there. Ask yourself this question. I'm going to ask you some hard questions now. And you need to ask yourself these questions seriously. Have I ever seen anything through? Ask yourself that question. Have you seen something through in your life? Where you've picked up the guitar and you said, I want to learn to play the guitar, and you have practiced that guitar until you could play it. Have you seen that through? Have you seen that through? There are very, very few people, 0.5%, who ever see anything through from the start to the beginning. Ask yourself, do you want to be part of the 99.5%, or do you want to start being part of the 0.5%? This is a question you need to. Have you quit before? Have you quit? Have I ever become really good at something, or have I always quit when it got hard? Have I quit when it got hard? I look at my daughter. My daughter is a great ballerina and dancer. She is now 15 years old, and she has been dancing at ballet since she was 3. So that's 12 years. So now she dances with all like the top people, and look, now she can properly dance. It's no longer the plinky plonky stuff. It's now like crazy, crazy ballet that she's doing, okay? When she started, there were hundreds of them. When she was 3 to 5 years of age, every mom's got their daughter at ballet. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. Now she's in a class of 6. 6. Because everybody else quit. And the big decider comes when they go on point. So that's when they're about 12, 13. They put on the hard-toed shoes and they go on point. Now you've got to try and walk around on the top of your toes. The class goes from 60 to 6 overnight. 60 to 6. The girls just quit because it's hard. Have you quit when things have got hard in the past? If you have, and I'm talking about anything and everything, folks, you're part of the 99.5% of human beings. And it is only the 0.5% that become wealthy because they don't quit. They don't quit. You're going to have to start asking yourselves these questions, folks. If you want what you see our rank 12s and our rank 11s and they have got, then you are going to have to stop quitting and start persevering. You are not going to get Duepoint right in your first month. You're not even going to get Duepoint right in your first year. You're going to have to put years in to become experts. Years, okay? It's time to become the best you can be. They say that professionals become professionals after 10,000 hours. So I asked myself the question, well, how long is 10,000 hours worth of practice? It is 8 hours a day for 5 years. Monday to Friday, 8 hours a day for 5 years. How many of you do 8 hours a day of Duepoint at the moment? Yeah, 1, 2, but it's all the people I'm giving all the rewards to. Do you see? Everybody that just put their hands up are the people that are getting all the rewards at Duepoint. If you want to become a professional at something in 5 years, 5 years, you're not a pro in year 4 or 3 or 2 or 1. You're only a pro after 5 years. you need to do Duepoint 8 hours a day, Monday to Friday. 8 hours every day. The same as if you want to become a pro soccer player or pro guitarist or a pro any ballet. 8 hours a day, 5. My daughter dances 7 days a week. She's dancing today, right now she's dancing, and she's dancing tomorrow again. It's 7 days a week in order to become a pro, okay? Anybody who's wealthy will tell you they've worked 7 days a week to be wealthy. I mean, my father, who's the example I use, I really didn't see him until I was about 15 because he worked 7 days a week. 7. He didn't moan about, well, it's my Sunday, it's not my job. That's a famous South African word. It's not my job. My dad does not have a job description. Whatever is required is not. That's why he's wealthy. That's why he's successful. He doesn't have these attitudes. He didn't take a holiday for 10 years. Not one day off for 10 years. And he didn't see his kids for 14 because he worked Saturdays and Sundays. He dropped me off at school. I saw him for 15 minutes on the way from my house to school every day. That's all I saw him. But, as I've said before, my 18th birthday, I got a BMW and as my first car. And then my 21st birthday, I got an M3. So you know what? I'm not feeling too bad about it. I'm not feeling too bad about it. And so the same thing should be you. What would you like in your life? Sunday off or to be able to buy a Ferrari? What would you like? And I see on some of your faces you'd like the Sunday off. I see it. No, it's completely statistical. I can see it on your faces. Some of you are like, forget that. Forget that. I'm not working. No. And that's okay. You guys will help me pay for those that will work. You will. You will. Those that work hard will get the rewards of those that don't. Yeah. It's that, and that's life. That's not Duepoint. That's life. You hear the politicians moaning about it. It's just life. If you're the one that does the work, you're the one that gets the rewards. Do the work. Put the practice in. 8 hours a day, every day for 5 years, you'll be a pro at Duepoint. How long have you spent working so far for nothing? You guys put 8 hours a day into your jobs, don't you? They make you arrive there at 8, they make you leave at 5, don't they? Sometimes even longer. Am I right? And they make you do that every single day. When I said to you, work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week for 5 years, some of you immediately switched off. And yet that's exactly what you're doing already at a dead-end job that pays you only enough to survive and gives you no rewards at all. Why are you willing to do it there, but you're unwilling to do it here? Is it not? I hope I'm challenging you this morning. Because you are wasting your lives outside of something like a Duepoint system where you own your income. You are wasting your lives. And it's largely due to laziness because at your job you don't really have to work, you just have to pitch. Whereas here, you'll actually have to work. You will actually have to work. I'm not going to crack the whip over your head. You will, because it'll be your asset. It'll be your business. It'll be your income. You will drive yourself. So yes, some of you don't want to be in that position. I don't want to have to work. I don't want to have to drive myself. I don't want to. And that's fine. Like I said, it's statistical. There's nothing I can do about it. But I'm trying to find out of you, those of you who are willing to do it. If you are willing to do it, then you won't need to be in that position. How different would your life look if you had spent all this time at Duepoint? How many years have you spent in your employment? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 40 years in your employment? Imagine if you'd taken that 40 years and built your asset with us at Duepoint. Those 5 years and built that asset. All those 8 hours every day, working on Saturdays, working overtime. Imagine you'd done all of that at Duepoint. Where would you be today with us? Yeah. So you're going to continue to waste your hours? No. It's time to redirect them, is it not? Yeah. Yeah. How long would you be willing to work with Duepoint to change your life forever? How many years? Forever. Exactly. This is a business we work to the last day because of how rewarding it is. Because of how rewarding it is, we don't ever stop. Wealth with Duepoint is built over years, not days, weeks, months, but years. Keep that in mind going forward. Wealth with Duepoint is built on yeses, not nos. So people cry about everybody saying no, and my response to you is, but why are you crying about the no's? None of that built your business. Keep looking for the yeses. Celebrate the yeses. Don't let the no's pull you down because you earn nothing for the no's. Celebrate the yeses in this business. Count the yeses. Don't judge your performance on the no's you're getting. You know you're practicing. You know you're an amateur. You're working towards becoming a pro. When you play golf, you don't cry because you can't match Tiger Woods' handicap. He's a pro, you're an amateur. You don't even measure yourself the same way, okay? The same with Duepoint. Don't measure your personal performance on your nose, okay? They will get better. Your success ratio will improve with practice. With years of practice, you'll get more and more people saying yes to you. Measure rather your success in your persistence. In the beginning, it is your persistence that will result in your success, not the number of people in your channel, not the number of yeses you've received. You need to measure your performance based on how long and how hard you work for. We've seen it, I've seen it now numerous times, numerous times. The breakthrough wealth engineers have that have gone the long term. Look at somebody like Yolandi. Yolandi's just gone rank 4. She spent 2 years getting herself to a point where she could start moving. And she just went rank 2, rank 3, rank 4. The momentum. And now she says she wants to be rank 5 by June, rank 6 by the end of the year. Now it's just starting to happen. It took her 2 years. Pat and Pumi, 2 years to build momentum. And now the momentum is going. You can't measure yourself on your yeses and on your channel size. You've got to measure yourself on your persistence. Have you put the hours in? Have you put the practice in? Are you attending the functions at Duepoint? Do you keep moving forward? Do you keep talking to people? When you do that, then you are succeeding, even if you haven't yet seen it financially. You are beginning to succeed. These are the rules of all wealthy people. Measure your effort by hundreds, not tens. Hundreds of hours, hundreds of people, hundreds of meetings. Don't go, I've spoken to 20 people. Tell me how many hundreds of people you've spoken to. Don't tell me you've spent 2 hours a week on this business. Tell me how many hundreds of hours you committed to Duepoint during every month. That's what I want to hear. I don't want to hear about the little bits. Tell me about how many meetings you've come to at Duepoint with your teams, training, development seminar. Tell me how many. Not, well, I came to 2 development seminars last year. That's not going to get you anywhere. Talk in hundreds, not in tens. And then you will start to succeed with us. Last point. You've got to entrench your meaning. Everything we've spoken about this morning is hard. It's hard. It's making you question why you ever joined this hard. It's hard. So if we're going to motivate ourselves to work as hard as is required to succeed, then we're going to have a foundation on which to build from. Because if we don't have a foundation, everything will collapse on us the moment things get difficult. The moment they get difficult, we're going to collapse. So we have got to build a proper foundation. And that, for me, is your meaning in Duepoint. Why was I here from the beginning? What was the reason I became a Duepoint? It will be different for all of you because you've all got different circumstances. Some of you would have been because I don't want to struggle to eat every month anymore. Others of you might be because I'm so sick of work, I want to have my own income and my own job and my own working hours. I don't know what it could be. It could be as simple as my kid's really sick and I need 10,000 Rand a month in medication and I don't have it. That could be your reason. You need to entrench that in you though. So it's one thing to have the reason. It's another thing to make it who you are. That's what I mean by entrenching it. It becomes who you are so that you don't collapse when the hard times come. Because they're going to come. This business is like this, boy. It's like this. It's like a heartbeat. Okay? What is the thing that you want different in your life? Do you want less stress, greater security? Do you want permanence? You're constantly changing jobs. You're constantly changing locations. Do you want something that's permanent in your life? Happiness, travel. Some of you want travel. The youngsters will tell you that. They haven't had to feed themselves yet. Their dad and mom's still feeding them. So they're not like worried about food. I want to travel the world. Great. Make that your reason for doing the hard work, you know. And wealth. Some of you want to be wealthy. I want the Ferrari. I want the big house. And that's fine. That's what we're in business for here at Duepoint. Okay. Then ask yourself, is there another way I can achieve this? Ask yourself that question. Right now, you're standing here. You've got your dead-end jobs. And say to yourself, is there another way right now other than Duepoint that I can achieve my meaning? What I want. Ask yourselves it, guys. Okay. Because if not, if there is no way outside of Duepoint that you can achieve your aspiration, your dream, your meaning, well then, this is not only the way that you can do it, not the only way, but it is also your last chance. How many of you are old enough to restart and restart and restart? Most of you in this room look middle-aged or old. Okay. Those 1.2 million matriculants are not yet in my room. Okay. You all look like you get one more swing at this. You get one more swing. So not only is Duepoint the only way to achieve your dream, and I believe that wholeheartedly. I don't believe there's anything outside of Duepoint that the average South African can do to make themselves wealthy and fix their circumstances. Challenge me on that. I mean, yes, there are exceptional individuals that will start their own businesses and become wealthy. Maybe 1,000. Maybe 1,000 of them. And maybe you're one of them. I doubt that. Statistically, if there were only 1,000, none of you would be them. It's either a job, which even if you have, will have a ceiling over your head. You'll never get wealthy with it because of your experience, education, character, skills. It'll be a limit over your head. Otherwise, it's Duepoint. Is it crypto? No, that's just gambling. It's speculation. You know, some will win, some will lose. It's just like throwing the ball on the roulette wheel. Okay. Share trading. How many of you know how to share trade? No. Forex trading? No. None of those are good. They're not going to be that for you. For the average South African in South Africa today, the only form of self-employment that is affordable, doable, has an infrastructure around it, and wealth and capital behind it is Duepoint. There isn't another form of self-employment that you can use today that will cost you 269 Rand and give you everything. It's Duepoint. So if it's Duepoint, it's your last chance. So you need to take your meaning and you need to entrench it. And you need to get stuck in now and put the roots down. Put the roots down now. This is your career for the rest of your life. It's going to be incredible. You're going to be in the only career that rewards you for achieving everything. Everything you do will be rewarded. It's incredible. Nothing else will give you that today. Make this meaning, your meaning, the rock, the solid foundation on which you build everything. Make it the reason you persist. Remember, your measurement of success, particularly in the beginning, is your persistence. That's your measure. How persistent are you being? So make it the reason you persist. The passion that drives you past all the no's, no matter how long it takes you. Whether it takes you 2 years or 3 years or 5 years, you keep doing it until you win, until you break through with us at Duepoint. So here's those 4 points again. What are we going to be doing to start right this year? We're going to find the right people in the right place. And we're going to start bringing more people. We're not going to be doing the one and the one and the one that's never going to get you there. We're going to start getting out into our suburbs, into our provinces, into our country. And we're going to start bringing South Africans into our assets. Okay? That has to start. It can't start later. It needs to start now because it's going to have to build up. You can't do 1,000 people in a stadium today. You're going to have to do 10 and then 20 and then you start now with that brand and find the right people. No more bringing in people who can't afford the 269. No more bringing in people who can't use a phone or don't have a phone and don't have data. No more bringing in people who want everything for free, including you. Including you. No more bringing those people in. Okay. We're then going to engage with them properly. It's about them. It's about them. No more arguments. No more talking them out of the business. Connect with them. Endear to them. Ask them the right questions and show them how Duepoint meets their needs. Engage with them properly. Engage with them properly. Then you're going to practice ceaselessly because many people will say no to you because you're not good at this yet. But you will be good at it if you're putting in hours and hours and talking to hundreds and hundreds of people. And your success ratio will improve and improve and improve. Years from now, everybody that talks to you will sign up because you will have improved. You will have practiced ceaselessly. And entrench your meaning. Build the foundation on which you can build this. These 3 things must sit on top of this. Because if you've entrenched your meaning, you will not sway when the no's come. You will not sway when the cancellations and lapses come. You will not sway when you have good months or bad months because you've entrenched it onto a foundation. Your reason and your persistence leading to your success at the end of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the beginning of 2023. It may be the beginning of the year you're looking at this video at. Start it right and start now. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.